Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Adana and I am a self-taught artist and writer in Washington, D.C. I mostly paint in oils and sometimes gouache, and often use this channel to share my work and talk philosophically about life. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, go ahead and subscribe. I recently cleaned up my studio space and found some old panels that had failed paintings on them. Now, I'm never one to throw things away, so I decided to paint over this particular panel with some Gamblin oil painting ground and attempt a new landscape. I found this particular reference photo on Pexels, and while I usually take my own reference photos, I didn't have anything that had a really strong sky and sea element as well as a land component that I could bring some natural elements to. I really wanted to focus on creating a strong depth in terms of colors and really saturated colors. I decided to focus on really changing up my brushwork and making it very expressive. So grab something warm to sip on, or maybe your sketchbook, and watch me paint over this panel and talk about trying to kick off an art career in your 30s. So first of all, why do I even want to pursue an art career? Well, growing up, I've always had creative hobbies. I loved to dance and sing, and I always loved writing. When I got to college, I started as a dance major, but my mom would always ask, well, why major in dance? I know that you really love to dance and, all that, but why not minor in dance and pick a major that is a little bit more practical? I can't fault my mom because she was just looking out for me, and in some ways, what she was saying made sense. I realized as I talked to advisors and mentors that while you'll always have your passions don't always pay the bills, honey. So I chose a more realistic degree in public relations and advertising so that I could still have some creativity in my life. Little did I know that while I would work with graphic designers and art directors and would write a lot, I myself wouldn't have a very creative job in advertising. So fast forward to now. The pandemic caused me to reevaluate a lot. And I mean a lot. In a fit of boredom during the lockdowns, I decided to order a few acrylic paints, some canvas and brushes, and just started experimenting and having fun. In those slow moments, I studied the masters and even some contemporaries, and I tried to hone in on what kind of art that I really liked, what kind of art didn't really speak to me, and I decided to put together a practice plan for how I would develop my own unique style. In the 3 years since, I've switched jobs multiple times, just trying to find that spark that I found during those quiet moments in my little kitchen studio, but unfortunately I haven't. I know that I was created to create, and even though I realized this in my mid-30s, I don't think that I can really let a late start deter me. While not ideal, there are some advantages to starting later in life. With age usually comes wisdom and experience. Many of the artists I love usually have a story that they're telling with their artwork. When I first started painting, I was so focused on making sure that a portrait was super photorealistic. And, while basic anatomy does need to be taken into account, many artists that I love aren't so focused on perfect renderings of photos. It's often expressive brushwork and interesting color palettes that draw me in and take a painting from just being a photo or a replica of a photo to an actual creative piece of art. There's also the story behind the painting that draws you in. An artist that I recently started following, her name is Vicky and the Kid on IG. She creates art based on the nuances of womanhood, including motherhood, sisterhood, and selfhood. Now, her figures are hardly photorealistic, but knowing the meaning behind many of her paintings draws me into them, and I often do see the parallels that she makes through her work. So lived experiences can only enrich your artwork and give it meaning, and I think that naturally comes with age, so starting later in life kind of gives you an advantage in that way. Obviously, with any advantages, you can think of a few disadvantages as well. The main one being that starting later in life, you'll likely have some baked in responsibilities. Maybe you're working full time, which takes up a lot of your day, and you need the income in order to continue to pay your rent or your mortgage. You might also have started a family. And in addition to your job, you need to dedicate time after work to help with homework and generally spend time with your children. You might also be dealing with elderly parents and need to provide financial or physical support to them. Now, not to say that someone much younger wouldn't deal with these same things, but it's a much higher likelihood that in your 30s or later, you may be dealing with any of these or any combination of these in the commitments of life that you may not have had to deal with in your early to mid 20s. That being said, I don't think that the disadvantages to starting later in life is enough of a deterrent for me personally to pursue an art career. Creating has always been a part of my personal ethos, and it's something that I will always do in some way, shape, or form. And you may be wondering, well, can't you just create art without sharing it? Yeah, I could, but I do think that sharing is part of my call as well. There are just a lot of stories that I have that I want to cultivate and tell through my art. So yeah, in closing, I want to pursue an art career, and I know that I'm starting a bit late, but that's okay. Like I said, there are some advantages, and if you're thinking about whether or not it's too late for you, I would say honestly, it's never too late to start. And that goes for whatever art is for you. So go ahead, start painting, making sculptures, write that book, start making short films, get in the studio, make a song, whatever it is, you can do it. And more importantly, if it's a call you feel like you can't deny that just keeps tugging on you, you should do it. But that's it for today's video. Hopefully it resonated with you. If it did, leave me a comment about what your chosen form of art is and one new thing that you'd like to do this year. If you like my art and want to support me, then subscribe and please like this video. It really does help keep me going. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.